Climate change conference, he should have swum back. You know what I mean? He should have ridden a donkey back, pedalled a unicycle back. It's ridiculous. He flies to Rio to lecture us about climate change. You know what I mean? Guy lives in a palace. It's like, you worry about climate change and carbon footprint so much, move into a one-bed flat and
get solar panels.
Live my lifestyle for a change. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. That meeting and the climate change meeting could have been done over Zoom.
Yeah.
Instead, they all fly in on their private jets. It's ridiculous. But yeah, he should have been back here for this. This is much more important.
Suzanne, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally with Leo on the hypocrisy of these absolute... Oh, I just haven't got a word for them. You know, felling forests to get a road there, private jets... Goodness knows how much they're eating, drinking, squandering out there. It's a complete disgrace. I'm not too bothered, frankly, that he's not back for this, but I am bothered that our future king is totally hook, line and sinker drawn into this climate nonsense. And we've just had stories today about the NHS having spent £1.4 billion on net zero initiatives and hasn't altered its carbon footprint.
They've gone up
at all.
The carbon footprints have gone up on the NHS. That's the bonkers thing.
Even worse than I thought. Net zero is a con. This climate catastrophe is a con, and I think it's a great shame that our future king has bought into it so thoroughly.
Wow. Okay. I just had to play that because, honestly, it's not every day you see GB News openly mocking Prince William. I mean, think about it. A channel that has spent years painting him as flawless, the future king we're all supposed to bow to, suddenly turning on him like this? That's some next-level irony. And it tells you a lot about the situation we're looking at right now. Leo Kearse's little quips about William swimming back or riding a donkey, or even pedaling a unicycle. Yeah, obviously that's meant to be funny. But the humor, as always with GB News, is just a thin veil over real criticism. They're trying to highlight what everyone's noticing. William's behavior around this climate summit, his posturing, and yes, his hypocrisy. And then Suzanne Evans jumps in with her full rant. Oh boy, the I just haven't got a word for them moment. Classic. She's hammering the same point Leo was circling around. William talks big about climate change, but does he actually practice what he preaches? The private jets, the lavish lifestyle, the palace comforts? She's right when she calls it a disgrace. And I have to say I get it, because this isn't just about one trip or one summit. This is the pattern we've been seeing from William for years. Now here's the twist that's actually fascinating. GB News, usually a cheerleader for William, is frustrated. They want him to do better. I truly believe that deep down, people like Leo and Suzanne aren't thrilled to tear him down for the sake of it. They're disappointed that the golden heir, the future king, isn't living up to the image everyone, media included, has built around him. They wish he was the type of royal who actually made projects that made sense, who actually led on issues like climate change, rather than just showing up for photo ops and posting on Instagram. And that's where the public comes in. Because let's be honest, the UK, and honestly the world, is now seeing through the mask. William, who has been portrayed as this responsible, level-headed, environmentally conscious heir, is now being called out in ways he probably didn't expect. Take, for instance, some of the ex-posts from UK residents. One person, Christopher Talbot, had the blunt take. Will, nice but dim. I mean, ouch, right? That sums up a lot of people's perception at this point. Well-meaning maybe, but completely out of touch. Then another user chimed in about the Amazon road. Is that the road that was torn through the Amazon forest so that you could attend a meeting to protect the Amazon forest? Like, seriously? You can't make this stuff up. That's literally the ultimate irony. Flying across the globe on a private jet, an act that massively increases your carbon footprint, to attend a climate summit that required a road to be carved through the Amazon rainforest, all for convenience and optics. It's a level of tone deafness that's almost hard to process. And here's where the nickname Dimwil really sticks. After the Brazil trip, the moniker caught fire online because it perfectly encapsulates the public's frustration. Here's a prince who could be a true leader, who has every platform to make a difference, but instead, he looks out of touch and performing for an audience that isn't impressed. It's almost sad when you think about it. The media, for decades, has propped him up, ignored his mistakes, and avoided holding him accountable. Now, decades later, it's like they're facing the monster they helped create. Because when William acts in ways that contradict his supposed values, they can't deny it anymore. And unlike Harry, who's been scrutinized constantly, yet consistently proves his worth through meaningful action, William doesn't get a free pass this time. The public sees the gap, and they're calling him out. And then, of course, there's the classic private jet photo. OMG. That's peak hypocrisy. Posting a photo of yourself on a private jet while lecturing the world about climate change? It's tone-deaf, arrogant, and completely undermines whatever message he was trying to send. One viral comment on X captured it perfectly. It's tone-deaf, arrogant, and the height of hypocrisy for Prince William to post a pics him on a private to a summit where 10,000s of trees were cut down to make a road for said summit, so that he can lecture the about saving the planet from the very thing his plane is doing. I mean, that comment sums up the problem perfectly. The optics here are horrendous. And honestly, it makes you wonder, does William even know what he's doing? Does he care? Or is this all performative, a checklist of, look at me being the environmentally conscious prince, moments without the actual substance? Because if the latter is true, it's embarrassing on multiple levels, for him, for the palace, and for the media that's now scrambling to justify it. Let's also be real about the contrast with Harry. Harry's out there actually making a difference. His projects are tangible, his actions are visible, and he's living the values he talks about. People notice this. And it's not even like Harry is trying to compete with William. He's just quietly doing his thing while William is performing for optics. That contrast is brutal, and I think that's why even GB News and other media outlets are suddenly frustrated. They see Harry succeeding where William is floundering, and it's making them question everything they've been promoting about the heir. And that frustration is palpable in the media narrative. Look at the way they keep returning to William's failures, the tone-deaf moments, the contradictions. It's almost like they're sighing, "Mate, why can't you be like your brother?" Because deep down, they want William to be the proactive, impactful royal he could be. They want him to be the heir the monarchy and public deserve, but he's choosing old-fashioned, performative methods that don't resonate. And now, everyone is seeing it, and the media can't paper over the cracks anymore. What's really fascinating about this whole situation is the way the public has taken to social media to call it out. The X posts, the viral comments, they reflect an almost collective disappointment. People aren't just joking about the private jet or the Amazon road. They're calling out the entire approach. Performative gestures, hypocrisy, tone-deaf messaging. And that's the dangerous part for William. Unlike Harry, who has built a reputation based on action and integrity, William's image is built on perception. Once the public starts seeing through it, the cracks become impossible to ignore. And we have to talk about accountability. For decades, William has been treated as untouchable. His mistakes were ignored, his missteps glossed over, and the narrative carefully curated to maintain his golden image. But that strategy has backfired spectacularly. The moment he steps out of line, or, in this case, contradicts the very values he's meant to represent, the public is there to call him out. And unlike the media's usual protective stance, the criticism is now coming from multiple angles: satire, social media, even outlets that typically champion him. Honestly, the whole Brazil episode reads like a perfect storm of hypocrisy. Private jet? Check. Environmental summit road destroying trees? Check. Public lecture on climate change while actively contributing to carbon emissions? Check, check, and check. And the online response has been merciless, and rightly so. The nickname Dimwil isn't just funny, it's emblematic of a larger perception. Out of touch, performative, and failing to live up to the standard even the public expects from a prince. And you know what? I actually feel like the frustration from both the media and the public isn't entirely malicious. Deep down, I think people want William to succeed. They want him to make a difference, to prove he's worthy of the heir apparent title. But success isn't about optics or staged photos. It's about action, authenticity, and actually living the values you espouse. And when the contrast with Harry is so glaring, it's impossible not to notice. At this point, it's almost comical how the narrative has flipped. The golden heir, the untouchable future king, is now being called out for hypocrisy in real time. And the irony is delicious. The same institutions and media outlets that spent decades shielding him from scrutiny are now scrambling, almost helplessly, trying to make sense of it. It's a rare moment of truth for the monarchy, one that the public is clearly enjoying watching unfold. So, as I sit here reflecting on this, it's clear that William's Brazil trip was more than just a misstep. It's a perfect case study in how privilege, optics, and hypocrisy collide, and how the public, armed with social media and a healthy dose of common sense, can see right through it. He had an opportunity to lead, to inspire, and to show the world that the heir apparent could actually be progressive, impactful, and responsible. Instead, he posted a photo, flew on a private jet, and left a trail of irony and frustration in his wake. Meanwhile, Harry continues to quietly outshine him, not with flashy posts or staged appearances, but with real action, meaningful projects, and a commitment to living his values. The contrast couldn't be starker, and the public is fully aware of it. Every X post, every viral comment, every sarcastic remark about dim will is a reminder that actions speak louder than titles, optics, or curated images. And that, I think, is the ultimate lesson here. No matter how carefully you manage an image, no matter how much media protection you receive, the truth has a way of catching up. William may be the heir apparent, but the public is no longer willing to accept mere optics as proof of leadership. Harry, the spare, has set the standard. And in doing so, highlighted William's failures in ways that even the most loyal media can't ignore. So as we move forward, it will be fascinating to see whether William adapts, learns, or continues down this path of performative action. Because at this point, the clock is ticking, and the public isn't forgiving. Every jet, every summit photo, every tone-deaf gesture is now magnified, scrutinized, and dissected online. And honestly, it's about time someone held him accountable. This is a defining moment for the monarchy, and it's one that shows just how much public perception matters, especially in an era where social media doesn't let you hide mistakes. William's Brazil trip, the Amazon road, the private jet, the viral comments, the dim will nickname. It's all a perfect storm of hypocrisy that the public won't let slide. And if there's a takeaway from all this, it's simple. Actions matter more than titles, optics, or curated appearances. And for William, the question now is whether he'll rise to the challenge or continue to be defined by irony, contradiction, and the shadow of his younger brother Harry, who keeps setting the bar higher and higher. The world is watching, and the public isn't forgiving. The era of golden, untouchable princes is over, and William is learning that lesson the hard way.
Hi there, my name is Given, a huge fan of Harry and Meghan. I hope you enjoyed Selena's presentation. For our subscribers, thank you so much for your support, and if you haven't subscribed yet, kindly remember to do so. Have a nice time and see you in the next one. Bye.